Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Daily English Dialogues. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. It is wonderful to be back in the studio with you all today. We hope you are having a productive week.
Today, we have a very special episode. It is a topic that we see in the comment section almost every single day. It's the holy grail of language learning.
That sounds serious. The Holy Grail? Are we going on a treasure hunt?
In a way, yes. We are hunting for fluency. Today, we are discussing how to train your brain to speak and think in English. We want to stop translating from our native language and start producing English naturally.
Ah, the translation trap. I know it well. You hear a sentence in English, you translate it into your native language to understand it, you think of a response in your native language, translate that back into English, and then you speak.
Exactly. And by the time you do all that mental gymnastics, the conversation has already moved on.
It's exhausting. It feels like your brain is running a marathon. So, Anna, is it actually possible to flip a switch and just start thinking in English?
It's not exactly a switch, Mark. It's more like a muscle. You have to train it. But the good news is that anyone can do it, regardless of their current level. You don't need to be advanced to start thinking in English. You can start today, right now.
That is very encouraging. So, where do we begin? How do we break this habit of translating everything?
The first step is what I call the labeling game. It sounds simple, but it is actually the foundation of everything else. If you skip this, the advanced techniques won't work.
I've heard of this. It's basically looking at a tree and thinking the word tree, right? To be honest, Anna, that sounds a bit too easy for our B2 listeners. They already know the word for tree.
You are right, Mark. Identifying single objects is level 1, but the goal isn't just to know the vocabulary, it is to reduce the reaction time.
Reaction time? You mean speed?
Exactly. Most learners see a tree, think arb or arbo or k in their native language, and then translate it to tree. That split second is what we want to eliminate. We want the image of the tree to immediately trigger the English word.
I see. So it's about speed. It's a reflex training exercise.
Precisely. But let's make it challenging enough for intermediate learners. I want to introduce 3 levels of the labeling game.
Okay, I'm ready. What is level 1?
Level 1 is the speed run. You look around your room and you have to name 10 objects in 10 seconds. You cannot hesitate.
10 objects in 10 seconds? That is fast. Let me try it right now in the studio. Take a deep breath. Microphone, desk, window, carpet, light, switch, cable, monitor, mouse, coffee cup.
Whew, just made it. Did you notice what happened to your brain there?
Yes, I didn't have time to translate. I was panicked, so my brain just grabbed the English words directly.
That is the sweet spot. When you force speed, you bypass the translation center of your brain. I recommend our listeners try this when they are walking down the street. Walking sets a rhythm. Step, car. Step, fence. Step, cloud.
I like that. It uses physical movement to help the mind. Okay, what is level 2? Because car and fence are still basic nouns.
Level 2 is adjective association. You are not allowed to just use a noun anymore. You must pair it with a sensory adjective, a color, a texture, or a material.
Okay, so instead of desk, I have to say smooth wooden desk.
Yes, or cluttered desk, or white desk. This forces you to observe the object more closely.
That's much harder. Let me try with the window. Dusty glass window.
Perfect. Dusty is a great B2 word. This technique helps you build noun phrases. In real conversation, we rarely use nouns in isolation. We describe things. So if you practice thinking delicious hot pizza instead of just pizza, you are preparing your brain for real sentences.
It also helps you realize which adjectives you don't know. For example, I might look at this chair and realize I don't know the word for the fabric. Is it rough? Is it soft? It makes you curious.
Exactly. It creates a knowledge gap. When you realize you don't know the word, you look it up later. That vocabulary sticks because you actually needed it.
Okay, so we have speed runs and we have adjective associations. What is level 3? This must be the advanced level.
Level 3 is spatial awareness. This is where many intermediate learners make mistakes. They know the nouns, but they struggle with prepositions like in, on, at, under, behind.
Oh, the nightmare of prepositions. In the bus or on the bus? It haunts me.
So, in level 3, you name the object and its location relative to you or another object.
Give me an example.
Instead of microphone, you think the microphone is in front of me. Instead of light, you think the light is above the table.
I see. You're building full sentences now.
Yes, but they are sentences about your immediate reality. You don't have to invent a story, you just describe what is true right now. My phone is in my pocket. The picture is on the wall.
This is really powerful because you're narrating your physical world. It feels like you're the director setting the scene for a movie.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Mark. You are the director of your own life. And there is one final boss level for the truly ambitious listeners.
A boss level? Let's hear it.
The function game. This moves from nouns to verbs. You look at an object and immediately think of what it does or what you do with it.
Okay, so if I look at a kettle,
You don't think kettle, you think boil water.
if I look at a chair,
You think sit down or rest.
if I look at my wallet,
You think spend money.
or lose money in my case, but I get the point. This links the object to the action.
Exactly. And language is ultimately about action. We use nouns to do things. So if you connect wallet to spend, you're building a neural pathway that helps you speak faster when you're actually at a shop paying for something.
So, to recap for our listeners, we don't just want you to point and say cat. We want you to progress through the levels.
Start with speed, add adjectives, add location, and finally add function.
If you do this for just 5 minutes a day, maybe while you're waiting for the bus or brewing your morning coffee, you'll notice a huge difference.
The English words will start popping into your head before your native language does.
It sounds like we are overriding our brain's default settings.
We are. We're changing the operating system from your native language to English, one object at a time.
Okay, so we have mastered the labeling game. We are looking at objects and naming them instantly. But Anna, life isn't just a list of nouns. We need verbs, we need grammar, we need flow.
Exactly. That brings us to the narrator technique.
I have to be honest, the idea of narrating my life sounds a bit exhausting. Do I really have to say, I am opening the door, I am walking through the door, I am closing the door? It sounds like a robot.
That is a very common complaint. If you only use simple sentences, yes, you will sound like a robot, and you will get bored very quickly. We want to avoid robot mode.
So how do we make it interesting? How do we sound like a human?
We need to add 2 ingredients, connectors and context.
Connectors and context. Let's break those down.
First, connectors. These are words like because, so, although, while, and in order to. Instead of saying 3 short sentences, I want you to combine them.
Okay, let me try. Instead of I am making coffee, I am tired, I should say,
I am making coffee because I am incredibly tired.
or I am making coffee so that I can wake up for my meeting.
Perfect. Do you feel the difference? The first version is A1 level, very basic. The second version is B2 level. You are explaining cause and effect. You're thinking logically in English.
That is a game changer. You aren't just reporting the news, you're explaining your life.
Exactly. Now let's try the second ingredient, context. This means adding feelings, opinions, or future plans to your narration.
Can you give us an example? Let's say I'm doing something boring, like washing the dishes.
Okay, robot mode would be, I am washing the plate. I am drying the fort. Boring, right?
Very boring.
Now, let's add context. You could say, I am washing these dishes quickly because I want to watch a movie later. Although I hate doing chores, I feel satisfied when the kitchen is clean.
Wow, that is a complex thought. You used because and although in the same train of thought.
Yes, and you can do this entirely in your head. You're training your brain to hold longer, more complicated English structures.
This sounds like stream of consciousness.
That is the perfect term for it, stream of consciousness. You let your internal voice flow without stopping. But Mark, what happens when you hit a wall?
A wall? You mean when I don't know a word?
Yes, you are narrating nicely, I am chopping the vegetables, I am boiling the water, and then you reach for a kitchen tool, but you don't know the English name for it. Let's say that thing you use to drain pasta.
Ah, the bowl with the holes?
Exactly. You paused. Many learners stop right there. They get frustrated, they pull out their phone to use Google Translate, and the flow is broken.
The immersion is broken.
Correct. So part of the narrator technique is mastering the detour. If you don't know the word colander, do not stop. You must describe it instantly.
So I should say, I am taking the metal bowl with holes to drain the pasta.
Yes, or I am using the pasta drainer thing.
Thing is a very useful word, isn't it?
It is the MVP, the most valuable player of language learning. Listeners, please remember this. Fluency is not knowing every word. Fluency is the ability to keep talking when you don't know a word.
That is such a relief to hear. I think many of us feel like failures when we forget vocabulary, but you're saying that describing the word, circumlocution, is actually a skill?
It is a high-level skill. Native speakers do it all the time. We forget words constantly. We say, hand me the clicker for the TV, because we forgot the word remote.
That's true. So the narrator technique is really about two things: connecting your sentences to make them complex and navigating around vocabulary holes without stopping.
Precisely.
Now, I have a practical question. Can I do this silently? Because if I walk around the supermarket talking to myself, I am choosing the ripest banana because I want to make banana bread, people are going to look at me like I'm crazy.
We don't want you to get arrested. Yes, you can do this silently. It's called subvocalization. It's that little voice inside your head.
But does thinking it silently help my speaking?
Ideally, you should speak out loud when you are alone because you need to train your mouth muscles. But subvocalization is great for mental structure. It trains the grammar part of your brain even if it doesn't train the pronunciation part.
So loud at home, silent in public.
That is the safest rule.
I want to give our listeners a challenge for this week.
Go ahead.
The next time you are doing a routine task, brushing your teeth, driving to work, or cooking, try to narrate it for just 2 minutes, but you must use the word because at least 3 times.
I love that. Force the logic. I am using this toothpaste because it is minty. I am driving fast because I am late.
Simple but effective. We have covered labeling objects and narrating actions. That handles the physical world. But Anna, humans are emotional creatures. We don't just say, I am sitting on a chair. We say, I am sitting on a chair and I am worried about my future.
That got dark quickly, Mark, but you are absolutely right. This is the biggest wall for intermediate learners. They can describe a room perfectly, but ask them how they feel about a topic, and they freeze.
Why is that? Why is opinion so much harder than description?
Because opinions require complex grammar and abstract vocabulary. You can't point to an opinion like you can point to a table. You have to build it with words.
So how do we practice this without finding a speaking partner? I can't exactly walk up to a stranger and start crying about my problems in English.
No, please don't do that. The best place to practice this is in the shower.
The shower?
Yes, or the car. Any private space where you feel safe. I call this technique the shower debate.
Okay, explain this to me.
We all do this naturally. You have an argument with your boss, your partner, or a rude customer service agent, and 3 hours later, while you're washing your hair, you replay the conversation in your head. You think of the perfect comeback. You think, I should have said this.
Oh, I am the king of imaginary arguments. I have won every single debate in my shower.
Exactly. Now, I want you to do that in English.
That sounds intense.
It is, and that is why it works. When you're angry or passionate, your brain releases chemicals that actually help memory. If you're emotionally connected to the words, you remember them better than if you're just reading a textbook.
So I should imagine a scenario.
Yes. Imagine you're explaining to a friend why you're angry. But don't just say, I'm angry. I want you to dig deeper. Use the emotions wheel.
The emotions wheel. Is that like a color wheel but for feelings?
Exactly. In the center, you have basic words: sad, happy, angry, scared. As B2, C1 learners, we need to move away from the center.
So instead of angry, what should I use?
Frustrated, annoyed, furious, irritated.
Instead of happy,
Relieved, thrilled, content, proud.
I see. So the exercise is pick a strong emotion, imagine a person you are talking to, and tell them why you feel that way using these specific words.
Let's try a role play, Mark. Imagine you're frustrated with me because I was late for recording today. Don't be polite. Tell me how you feel in English.
Okay. Anna, to be honest, I am feeling a bit irritated right now. We agreed to meet at 9 and you arrived at 9:30. It makes me feel like my time isn't valued.
Wow, that was good. You used to be honest and it makes me feel like. These are excellent opinion markers.
It felt different than just narrating. I had to focus on the structure of the argument.
Exactly. And you can do this for positive things too. Imagine you're accepting an Oscar award.
I would like to thank the Academy.
Seriously, give a speech in your bathroom mirror. I am so honored to receive this. I have worked so diligently for this moment.
Diligently. Nice word.
This technique helps you practice linking words of contrast. In an argument, we often compare ideas. Words like however, on the other hand, and despite.
Can you give us an example of using despite in a shower argument?
Sure. Imagine you're arguing about a restaurant. You could say, despite the bad service, the food was actually delicious. However, I don't think I will go back.
That is a very B2 C1 sentence. You're weighing two different sides of an argument.
Correct. And here's the pro tip for this section. Record yourself.
Oh no, hearing my own voice, that is painful.
It is painful, but it is necessary. Record your fake argument on your phone, then listen to it. You'll hear mistakes that you didn't notice while you were speaking. You might hear, oh, I said he have instead of he has.
That is true. When you're speaking, you're focused on the message. When you listen back, you can focus on the grammar.
Exactly. So for our listeners, here's your homework for part 3. Pick a topic you have a strong opinion about. It could be football, politics, fashion, or even pizza toppings.
Pineapple on pizza. That's a dangerous topic.
Perfect topic. Spend 3 minutes debating it with an imaginary opponent in your head. Force yourself to use at least 2 advanced emotion words and 1 contrast word like however.
And if you get caught talking to yourself in the shower, just tell them you're recording a podcast. We have arrived at what I think is the most controversial part of today's episode. Anna, you are asking our listeners to throw away their bilingual dictionaries.
I am not asking you to burn them, but I am asking you to put them in a drawer and lock it.
That is scary. For many of us, the translation dictionary is a safety blanket. If I see a word I don't know, looking it up in my native language feels like an instant fix. It feels safe.
It feels safe, Mark, but it is a trap. I call this the currency exchange problem.
The currency exchange, like at a bank?
Exactly. Imagine you go to a bank to change dollars into euros. You pay a fee, right? You lose a little bit of value.
Yes, the exchange rate is never perfect.
It is the same with language. When you translate a word like cozy into your native language, you lose the specific feeling of that English word. You lose the nuance. And worse, you train your brain that English is just a code for your native language.
That makes sense. You aren't learning English, you were just learning how to decode English back into your mother tongue. So the solution is the monolingual dictionary.
Yes, an English to English dictionary.
But Anna, here's the fear. What if I look up a word and the definition uses other words I don't know?
Ah, the rabbit hole. You look up obscure, the definition says vague. You look up vague, the definition says ambiguous, and suddenly you are crying.
Exactly. It's a never-ending loop.
The solution is to use the right kind of dictionary. Do not use a dictionary for native speakers, like the standard Oxford or Webster's. You must use a learner's dictionary.
What is the difference?
A learner's dictionary, like Oxford Learners or Cambridge Learners, is written with a specific rule. They are only allowed to use the most common 3,000 words to write the definitions.
Oh, I didn't know that. So the definition is guaranteed to be simpler than the word you're looking up.
Exactly. It breaks the complex idea down into simple building blocks. For example, if you look up bachelor, it won't give you a complex history. It will simply say, a man who is not and never has been married.
That's clear, and it forces you to process the concept in English.
There is another trick for avoiding translation, specifically for nouns: Google Images.
Google Images? You mean just searching for the picture?
Yes, if you read the word walrus and you don't know what it is, don't translate it. Type walrus into Google Images.
And you will see a big, fat animal with tusks sitting on the ice.
Precisely. Now your brain has a direct link. The word walrus equals the image. There is no Spanish, no French, no Vietnamese in the middle. It is a pure connection.
That is actually how we learn as babies, isn't it? Parents point at a cat and say, cat. They don't write a definition.
Exactly. We're trying to replicate that natural process. Visuals are powerful.
I want to ask about synonyms. Sometimes, instead of a definition, dictionaries just give a list of similar words. Is that good?
It can be dangerous. This is where the monolingual mindset is crucial. In English, words have flavors.
Flavors?
Yes. Let's look at the words slim, thin, and skinny. They all mean not fat, but if you translate them into your language, they might all be the same word. In English, they are very different.
So slim is attractive, right?
Yes, slim is positive, thin is neutral, and skinny can be negative. It might mean you look unhealthy.
So if I tell my boss, wow, you look skinny, I might be insulting him.
You might be. And a bilingual dictionary won't always tell you that. A monolingual dictionary will explain the connotation, the feeling of the word.
Okay, you have convinced me. I'm putting the bilingual dictionary in the drawer. But what do I do when I'm in a hurry? Sometimes I just need the word now.
If you are in a true emergency, sure, translate. We're not robots. But make it a rule. The 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, struggle with the English definition. It builds mental muscle. 20% of the time, when you're exhausted, you can cheat.
I like that. It's manageable. It's not all or nothing.
One final tip for the monolingual mindset. Change your internal search engine. When you are trying to remember a word, don't ask your brain, what is the English word for blank?
What should I ask instead?
Ask your brain for the description. What is the word for the thing you use to stop the rain?
Umbrella.
See? You accessed the word through the function, not through the translation.
It feels much faster, actually.
It is. Once you get used to it, it is the highway to fluency. Translation is the winding back road. Monolingual thinking is the expressway.
We have arrived at the final piece of the puzzle. Anna, I hear this excuse every single week. Mark, I can't think in English because I live in Brazil, or I live in Vietnam, or I live in Germany. Everyone around me speaks my native language.
I hear it too. And I am going to be a little bit tough on our listeners right now. That is just an excuse.
Ooh, tough love.
It is. 50 years ago, it was a valid excuse, but today, you have the internet. You can live in the middle of a forest, and if you have Wi-Fi, you can live in an English-speaking world. We need to build an artificial immersion environment.
Artificial immersion. I like that. So we are building a bubble.
Exactly. Let's start with the device you hold in your hand for 4 hours a day, your smartphone.
I know this tip. Change the language settings to English.
Yes, but Mark, be honest. Have you actually done it?
I did it once and then I couldn't find the calculator, so I switched it back.
You have to commit, Mark. Here's why it matters. It's not just about learning words like settings or notifications. It's about signaling to your brain that English is a tool for survival.
Survival? That sounds dramatic.
It is. If you need to use GPS to find a location and the map is in English, your brain needs to understand English to get you to your destination. It stops treating English like a textbook subject and starts treating it like a life skill.
That is a great psychological shift. Okay, so phone settings are step one. What about social media? I spend way too much time scrolling through Instagram and TikTok.
We all do. But you can turn that wasted time into study time. You need to hack the algorithm.
Hack the algorithm? How?
Start liking and following English accounts. Chefs, comedians, news channels, fitness instructors, whatever you're interested in. If you like cooking, follow an American chef.
So when I'm doom scrolling at 11 p.m.,
You're doom scrolling in English. You're reading comments in English. You're hearing slang. It's passive immersion, but it fills the gaps in your day.
okay, let's move to something more active. We mentioned the shadowing technique earlier. I want to deep dive into this because many listeners say, I listen to podcasts all day, but I still can't speak.
That's the difference between passive input and active training. Listening is great, but it doesn't train your mouth muscles. Shadowing connects the ear to the mouth.
So walk us through the perfect shadowing session. How do I do it?
Step 1, choose the right audio. It must be something with a transcript, like this podcast, and it shouldn't be too fast.
Step 2?
Step 2, listen once to understand. Don't speak yet, just get the meaning.
Got it.
Step 3, the echo. Play the audio again. This time, you repeat what the speaker says immediately after they say it. Do not pause the audio. You should be about 0.5 seconds behind them.
That's the hard part. It feels like you're interrupting them.
It requires focus. You have to shut off your internal voice and become a copycat. And here's the secret, Mark. Don't just copy the words, copy the emotion.
Copy the emotion.
Yes, if the speaker sounds excited, you sound excited. If they pause, you pause. If their voice goes up, your voice goes up. You're mimicking the music of the language, not just the grammar.
I guess that helps with that robot voice we talked about earlier.
100%. If you shadow for just 10 minutes a day, your pronunciation will improve faster than if you studied grammar for 10 years. I promise.
That is a big promise, but I believe you. Now, I have one final question about movies and TV shows. Subtitles, yes or no?
This is the eternal debate. Here's my rule, the staircase method.
The staircase method. Go on.
Step 1, beginner, English audio plus native language subtitles. This is for fun, not learning. Step 2, intermediate, English audio plus English subtitles. Step 3, the goal, English audio with no subtitles.
Step 3 is terrifying. I feel like I miss 50% of the jokes.
That's okay. You have to build your tolerance for ambiguity.
Tolerance for ambiguity. That sounds like a philosophy concept.
It is crucial for language learners. It means being okay with not understanding everything. If you understand 70%, that's enough to follow the story. If you rely on subtitles forever, your ears will never get strong. You're reading, not listening.
That's a hard pill to swallow. We're lazy. We want to read because it's easier.
Comfort is the enemy of growth, Mark. If you want to think in English, you have to take the training wheels off the bike eventually.
You're right. So change the phone, curate the feed, shadow the audio, and kill the subtitles.
That's the recipe for an immersive home environment. You don't need a plane ticket to London. You just need discipline.
We have covered an incredible amount of ground today, Anna. My brain is actually tired just talking about it.
That is a good sign, Mark. It means you are working those mental muscles. But let's be realistic. If our listeners tried to do all of these things tomorrow, labeling, narrating, shadowing, journaling, they are going to burn out in 24 hours.
Absolutely. It's like trying to run a marathon without training. You'll collapse at mile 1. So how should they approach this?
They need to trust in the compound effect.
Like in finance, compound interest.
Exactly. If you improve your English by just 1% every day, you won't notice a difference tomorrow. You might not notice it next week, but in 1 year, you will be unrecognizable.
That is such a crucial mindset. I think many intermediate learners hit what we call the plateau. They feel stuck. They feel like they are studying but not getting better.
The plateau is an illusion, Mark. It feels flat, but actually you are building the foundation for the next jump. Thinking in English is the ladder out of that hole.
So let's give them a quick summary, a cheat sheet of the 5 tools we discussed today to help them climb that ladder.
Tool number 1, the labeling game.
Look at the world around you and name it. Start with nouns, tree, move to adjectives, green tree, and end with location. The tree is outside.
Tool number 2, the narrator.
Mark, describe your life like you were the main character in a movie. Use connectors like because and although to link your actions.
Tool number 3, emotional arguments.
Mark, use your shower time to win imaginary debates. Express your opinions, frustrations, and joys using strong B2 level vocabulary.
Tool number 4, the monolingual mindset.
Mark, put the bilingual dictionary in the drawer. Use an English to English learner's dictionary, or use Google Images to visualize the word directly.
Tool number 5, active immersion.
Mark, shadow podcasts, talk to your AI assistant, switch your phone language, and write just 3 sentences in a journal before bed.
Perfect summary. Now I have a challenge for everyone listening.
A challenge? I love challenges.
I want you to pick just one of these 5 tools. Just one, and I want you to do it for 7 days straight.
Only one?
Yes, don't try to be a superhero. If you choose labeling, do that for a week. If you choose journaling, do that. Once it becomes a habit, then add the next one.
That is very manageable. Small steps lead to big destinations.
Exactly. And we want to hear from you. Please go to the comments section right now and tell us which one are you choosing. Type, I am a narrator, or I am a journaler.
We will be reading the comments and replying to as many as we can. It's always inspiring to see the community supporting each other.
Before we go, if you found this episode helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to other learners who are stuck in the translation trap.
And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next episode. Next week, we are going to talk about phrasal verbs and how to stop being afraid of them.
Oh, that's a scary topic. Get up, get down, get over, get through. It's a nightmare.
We will make it easy, I promise.
Thank you so much for listening to Daily English Dialogues. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. Stop translating, start thinking, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.